Hello, what you see right here in this new video is something that I'm working currently on, and it's completely made inside of Solaris, the Labs context, or not entirely, but what you see right here is, yeah, it's a tree, it's a spruce, and this video is just to introduce that I'm building currently a nature system or a tree system first of all, where you can use this resulting USD library for your own projects. And first of all, I want to test it in my own project. That this is an idea that I have for a very long time, and recently the tree maker has become very stable, or at least on Linux on my system. The tree maker in Houdini, so this entire tree is fully procedural. And the magic inside of Renderman and LODs, the Solaris context, is that I can use the full rest geometry, similar to what I hear and see about the Unreal 5 engine. So I can blast the total amount of needles, twigs, and so on into an entire scene. And the crazy thing is, I currently have three different sizes. There will more sizes like 20 meters, 10 meters, and 5 meters for each trees or for each tree group. And there are variants underneath. As you can see, here we have some more variants. And the crazy thing is, this entire data set is less, than 600 megabytes. And the nice thing about this, the full rest tree has over 120 million needles, and you can populate the entire scene and it's not crashing. And yeah, for Solaris Renderman, this data amount is just a joke. It's as it seems. So what you see right here is essentially not a benchmark. It's a live production asset, if you will, and you don't need any sort of LODs for the distance and so on. So, and yeah, I'm currently was I was working on the shading, so the that variant should have to have brown needles. So, by the way, this entire tree has displacements activated. So the needles lost a lot of their green. I built a setup with the main bark material, which is, by the way, completely generated in Substance Designer, in Adobe Designer. And yeah, scattered across the mesh of the trees. And then I have individual sets for the needles, as you can see. And I will stop this render just for demonstration purposes. So I will switch back to OpenGL. And what you see is my proxy geometry. Yeah, it's just some metaballs converted to polygons. Very few polygons in total, so that it is not killing off the viewport. Because each tree, like, maybe 50 to 120 million polygons, could be a big problem. And yeah, even my RTX wouldn't be able to do that. So I will go to the building tab because when I now switch into the geometry or into the subs context for each tree where I have built those trees, it would display those USD files on top of the sub file, and this is something I cannot deactivate, or I had to delete the scene graph in order to make this work, so it's easier to switch to the build tab. And here you can see yeah, that's the bottom of the tree. So I will switch into the full 50-meter variant, and as you can see, it's already deactivating or displaying proxies for those needles. So I will go up to 80 million, and we have still some boxes. 90 million, still some boxes. 110 million, and we still have, I think we have a yeah, okay, 110 million, 105. We have a box. 110. We still have maybe. So you can roughly say 110 million polygons in viewport, and I can, yeah, I can move into this tree, and you see each needle. And by the way, those needles are only 2D needles, if you will, because it doesn't make any sense to have a true 3D dimensional yeah, needle on top, because even from this distance it will look real. So I also don't use the method of creating a texture set, because using textures on that heavy amount of nested instances would create an enormous amount of UVs. So it's better to use full geometry on those tiny objects. So I have created 3 variants, of course, so that we have more variation at each branch, and I try to make it as realistic as possible. So I have studied some scientific work on how a spruce has to look like, and yeah, I try to yeah, to rebuild what I read in those papers, and I think it's not looking that bad. So the 50-meter variant is the tallest that you can find in the world. It's, yeah, a rare variant of the spruce, and yeah, that's why I have only 3 variants in total of these, but more variants on the 40-meter, because this is the general version. And yeah, I already baked those assets out with the new Houdini 19 component builder, or the component setup. And the crazy thing is, when I switch, yeah, I can switch to this variant maybe. And we should go to the Solaris tab now. So we have this one. So sometimes it's crashing, that's why I have saved it. So yeah, that's the full version. And you see it's so fast. This is not XPU, this is RIS, Renderman. And yeah, 110 million needles. And now we can move in. So, I mean, the displacements are also activated, I guess. yeah, active. So, and when we move closer, you see that even the needles have an upside and a downside, or a top shading, and of course, like on another leaf, or on each leaf, the side underneath has different shading, like the real version, which is slightly desaturated. And I think it's not looking really bad. So maybe we can put some defocus right here, camera F2, maybe in F4. Yeah, and it's really, really fast. So, and because of that, you don't need any sort of LOD. I don't see a reason. I mean, 500 MB for an entire set of tree, or yeah, for all those variants with all the randomized materials, 500 MB is nothing. And also performance wise, it's not really that heavy. I mean, because of the editing of the cache, I think we have some filled up data in the cache manager. So yeah, I reduced it a lot. Maybe I should restart Houdini or the scene itself, so that you can see how less memory is consumed. So the problem with Houdini is you cannot clean up the cache totally. I don't understand why, but it's the case. I think the history itself, the editing history, is also a factor of having a lot of data in the RAM. So this is the native scene, something like 10 gigabyte or so. And we should get some error messages that I don't understand, but it's not a problem. Ah, okay. Yeah. The reason is I don't cache this tree, so it has to recalculate this entire tree. Because of that, it is gaining more RAM now. So yeah, that's as expected. So what I can do is I can switch to this version, and we clean up the cache again. Yeah, we will not come down. No problem. So, but now comes the real nice thing. I have built a ground plane. As you can see, I have deformed the ground plane, and yeah, this is the problem. So when you be on the Solaris page, you see still some glitches. Don't know why, but I don't want to see that stuff. So scene graph. Yeah, it's still glitching. Why is this so? Anyways, so, and now it's working. Yeah. So this is the basic ground plane. I have extended it for better rendering. I changed the topology a bit just for testing. And then I loaded everything into my scatter setup and painted some areas where those trees have to sit on. And because I changed some of the shading and the variations and so on, I didn't export all the other versions right now. So what I will do is I will only use the 50-meter variant, which is this one. And let us go to the camera. So here we have all those trees. So yeah, I cannot say how much. I think 8,000. Need to check this. No, 1.1 thousand instances, which is quite a lot when you remember that each one has roughly 50 to 110 million polygons. So I will grab a spot right here. Maybe I should move here, something like that. Yeah, I hate this bug. So maybe this one. Save again, just for the case that is crashing. And it should now load this. And yeah, wow. Yeah, Solaris isn't that stable. I don't know why. But it's the case. The latest production build is much better, but there you have a lot more of these graphic glitches. And I hope I will see a Houdini Renderman version this year, which is really, really stable. So, but yeah, so we have 5.2 gigabytes right now in space, in memory. I will grab this one and I will check the camera. Yeah, the focus plane is right here. And the camera has an f.4, which is nice. So what we can do is we can simply render it to disk, so we can see the true memory consumption. So H batch is starting, and then it will load it to the husk operation. So it's gaining. Yeah, I extended the entire quality. Yesterday I posted something about 4 gigabyte, or yeah, I guess 4 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte, don't remember exactly, but something like this. But today I have extended those trees from 50 million to 110 million, and as you can see, it's rendering. And it's really fast, so I think the new shading looks quite nice. But yeah, what we have right now is less than 8 gigabytes. I mean, isn't that fantastic? So the displacements are there, as you can see, and Yeah, direct diffuse. But I don't like the lighting, so stop that. Shouldn't crash now. The problem with Solaris and Renderman is when you have rendered an image or use the IPR and then switch back to a new version or something like that, somehow the memory is over flushed, and so it's crashing. So you have to seriously wait some seconds until you restart your render process. So let us turn the light a bit, maybe. Oh yeah, this looks much better. So in the last image we had light directly from behind, but this is more side lighting, which is more interesting. And yeah, of course we can move. We have defocusing and displacements in place. I also tried to reduce the patterns, that you can see those patterns, because the tree maker is generating UV patches, of course, and I used two different texture sets, full PBR sets, and blended them together with some noises, and so the recognition between each should be lesser visible. So maybe 60 degrees. Yeah, much better. Oops. All those dead trees in front, yeah, not so nice. Maybe we should move into the woods. This looks really heavy. So those handles are really slow. 40 degrees. Yeah, this is so nice. Of course, we could switch. This is the half version. We could also switch to the full res version. It's maybe a bit better. But for placing the camera, we can switch to this one. Maybe I can go down by, wow, maybe 1.4 meters. Oh, something around 1.70. And then we look up. And then we switch back to the full res version. This is so nice. I hope that I can finish this project as soon as possible, but the aim is to generate multiple plants and trees and maybe bushes and so on to be able to generate an entire scene. I have some concepts that I want to realize, and yeah, this is the first step. And I don't know when I will finish this, but it will happen this year, hopefully before summer. But it's really a lot of work to shape those trees. All trees also have translucency, so when we go into the shader, they are fairly complex. So those are the needles. All is llama-based translucency. We have the front and back side, and of course those barks for main trunk, big branches, main twigs, twig medium branches, and the twig small branches. Yeah, it's looking really nice. So I hope you liked this video and had some interesting insights into Solaris and what you can do with it. And yeah, I thought it's a good opportunity to show something not just on Behance, on my Behance net blog page, but as well on YouTube, because there are so many followers, so many of you following me, and I didn't had really the energy and the time to post something or to work on something like that. The last year was really troubling for me. I was really at the point to stop doing 3D, and I really thought about that. In the end, I only did some client projects, but all stuff was really all private artist work was, yeah, on hold, more or less. I supported the Discord server, of course, but I didn't work on any personal projects. So this has changed. This is a new year and new ideas, and I hope everyone, including myself, will stay healthy. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.